Hey everyone, it's Kazlo and welcome back to my channel. It's time for the next segment of my RPG Club playthrough of the classic JRPG, Chrono Trigger. But first, what is the RPG Club? I've been an avid listener of the podcast RPG The After Years, and its predecessor RPG The Golden Years. The podcast focuses on RPG reviews and news. They regularly do a community event known as the RPG Club. Imagine a book club, but for RPGs. They break up a community-chosen RPG into digestible chunks, usually about 5 hours, and discuss those segments every 2 weeks like a book club. If you want to check out RPG The After Years, you can find a link in the description below. We stopped last time in the endgame, beginning to take on side quests before the final dungeon, the Black Omen. In this section, I started with Frog's side quest. This quest takes you to a haunted castle, where Frog is able to say goodbye to his friend Cyrus. The act also upgrades the Masamune to be Frog's best weapon. Next up was Magus' side quest. Here, you take down Magus' former generals, Flea, Slash, and Ozzy. Along the way, you find in-game armor and weapons for Magus, before, once again, Ozzy defeats himself. Then it was off to the future for Robo's side quest, which sees you going through an abandoned factory to save humans from Mother Brain and receive Robo's best weapon. Along the way, you have to defeat Robo's girlfriend, which results in her giving Robo her ribbon, which grants him permanent stat boosts. Finally, it was time for Marl's side quest, which leads the team on a treasure hunt for the Rainbow Shell, a treasure of the old Reptite Kingdom. This takes you through the buried ruins of the Reptite Castle in 600 AD, before giving the shell to the King of Guardia for safekeeping. Now, back in the present, Marl's father has been charged with selling the shell for his own profit. Ultimately, the modern Chancellor is a monster, just like the Chancellor we defeated back in 600 AD at the beginning of the game. This quest gives closure to Marl and her father's relationship, as well as in-game armor for the group. With side quests out of the way, the team entered the Black Omen in 1000 AD. The dungeon is very comparable to the Ocean Palace, but with mini-bosses spread throughout. Ultimately, the team makes it to the final room for a confrontation with Queen Zeal. After a quick battle, the Queen tries to throw the team into the Mammoth Machine, initiating a boss battle against the machine fused with the Queen. The fight is a mixture of attacking the machine with your strongest characters and using the Masamune to weaken it. After defeating the Mammoth Machine, the Queen teleports everyone to the top of the Black Omen before she transforms into her final form. The fight can be a little long, as she frequently reduces your HP to 1, meaning you have to hold someone out for emergency heals. But after defeating the Queen, she calls upon the power of Lavos. The Black Omen then begins to disintegrate before the team is confronted by Lavos. This version of Lavos operates mainly as a boss rush of every boss in the game. However, it's at their power when you originally fought them, so most of the forms die in just a matter of hits. After defeating all the forms, and this form of Lavos itself, the team enters the shell to fight the true form of Lavos. Well, actually 2 true forms. First, the team takes down a large machine form, before moving on to the second form, which consists of 2 bits and a strange robot. After surviving its damaging attacks, the team finally defeats Lavos and saves the world. The team returns to Guardia, where Chrono is awoken, arrested, and brought to Guardia Castle. However, the entire thing was a ruse by the king and Luca. Luca had brought all of Marl's ancestors, including Kino from the prehistoric era, to the present to congratulate the team on defeating Lavos. The team then celebrates at the Millennium Fair before sending everyone back to their respective time period. The king then gives Chrono and Marl his blessing before Marl runs off with Luca and Chrono for one last visit through time in the Epoch. And that's it for Chrono Trigger. I still really adore this game. However, playing through the Steam version, I can't help but wonder if Chrono Trigger's combat was always this fast. Even at its slowest battle speed, I had to be super quick on my feet to select commands, or bosses would wipe me out with their terrible combinations of moves. Overall though, that's the only negative thing I have to say about the Steam version. It's a great port of the game that doesn't get the recognition it deserves. Turning specifically to this section, I have to gush about how well done the side quests are. Unlike most modern RPGs, the game doesn't push side quests on you throughout the game. Instead, it saves them for the end of the game, and uses them to tie nice little bows on each of your character's stories, while giving them great upgrades and gear they will need for the final bosses. The Black Omen, as a final dungeon, is rather long, as a final dungeon should be, but it was almost too linear, and fighting multiple versions of the same boss throughout got a little tiring. But once you get to Queen Zeal, you get some really unique bosses before a very challenging final encounter with Lavos. Lavos' final form came very close to wiping me because one of its moves is a super strong hit that took my characters down from full HP to nothing. There's one complaint I have, it's that the interior of Lavos is very mechanical and his final forms are very robotic. It's never truly explained why Lavos is like this. All we know is that it's feeding off the planet like a parasite. So was Lavos some sort of biomechanical machine or weapon? If so, who created it to scour the universe for planets, to destroy and reproduce? I guess we may never know, and I might be overthinking it anyways. Now to determine if I want a New Game Plus all of those endings. That's it for the Chrono Trigger RPG Club. If you want to follow along with what the next game will be sure to hit that subscribe button to see new videos when they are posted. Additionally, if you want to check me out elsewhere, I have links to my Twitch, Twitter, and Discord in the description below. See you all next time.